Hey you guys, welcome back to the C is for Class, and I am Cameron. I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend. So today I want to start off with like a little short story time. Some things are, better left alone. So this story time is about my ex-best friend. This weekend. I went to go see my family in Richmond, Virginia. To visit, see how things are going. And before I left, I found out that my ex-best friend had been ran over by a car. Aww. Yes, ran over by a car. The last time I saw her, we weren't really on the best of terms, and I thought, let's be mature. I was like, life's too short. Let's make up. Let's see if we can resolve our issues. So for this story time, or short story time, we're going to refer to her as Chuck Norris. We're gonna call her Chuck Norris. So Chuck Norris and I have been we're best friends since the 3rd grade. I've known her for years, loved her very much. She's very, 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 very dear to my heart. We've been there for each other, from losing family members, like deaths in the family, to mental health issues. We started theater, so she was, I've been doing theater for a few years. I went to performing arts high school. I'm studying theater currently in college right now, and she is the person who told me to do theater in the first place. And she told me to sign up for it because it was an easy A class, and that's why I did that. So she holds a lot of meaning in my heart. And I used to be at her house all the time because she lived down the street, and her parents even would call me like a son of theirs, even though they have like several sons, but like they would consider me part of the family. So the reason why we fell out initially is because she said the N-word. And Chuck Norris is of the whites. She is of the whites. So I told her that I wasn't comfortable with her saying the N-word. For one, it's a racial slur. It's been used to oppress African Americans for centuries. And I mean, if you're not really racist, you shouldn't have a desire to use a racial slur. And of course her argument was, I don't say it in a bad way, you know that. I just say that. I'm like, I'm not comfortable with you saying it. I'm just not. And the college I go to isn't very diverse. It's a private PWI down south. So I already have to deal with that on a regular basis. So I'm not gonna come and visit you and see you and deal with that. So she just really didn't get it. And I kept telling her several times I was uncomfortable her saying the N-word, and she just made excuses. She apologized, she said she was sorry, she made excuses, she said she wouldn't say it. But in the course of the car ride, she said it 3 times, like 3 times. We had the conversation over and over, and I was just done. I wasn't gonna waste my breath anymore. And mind you, we were hanging out, we were in her car, she paid for everything, so I didn't want to, ruffle feathers and end up on the side of the road. But so I decided to go see how she was doing, and I went to go visit her, which in hindsight probably wasn't gonna go well in the first place. But I saw her. She was limping. She had contusions in her arm. She had a giant tire mark across her stomach where she had been ran over by the tire. So I was just asking her how she was feeling, how things were going, how why she got hit by a car, because I assumed there was a story behind it. So basically, Chuck Norris was a plug, and she sells weed, and a guy that she was selling weed to didn't want to pay her. So at the last minute, when she was about to he pretended like he was gonna hand her the money, and instead he grabbed her arm and had the person he was in the car with step on the gas, and they drugged this girl with the car and ran over her stomach, unfortunately. So I felt bad, and within a good 5 seconds of us talking, she drops the N-word, and I'm like, come on, sis, no. So then I'm like, you know what, let me calm down, let me not freak out, let me not be too much. So I gave her a look, and she didn't pick up on the look. I said, let me just pay the comment. She's not gonna say it again. We're talking, and there was a third friend there, a third person I grew up with. and she said it again, and I was like, come on,
girl. And she ignored it. Like, I was like, come on, girl. Like, you know what you're doing. And she ignored that comment. So,
like, I didn't even say it. So I was like, what the fuck? So then she said it a third time, and I was like, come on, girl. Like, we talked about this last time. And she was like, oh, Cameron, you know I don't say it in a bad way. No, what really irritates me is Chuck Norris is one of those whites who, because she hangs out with a lot of black people, she has, I don't want to say made up, but she has adopted an African-American vernacular or slang, or it's rubbed off on her. So she kind of talks very harshly, or as some people would say, black, but you can't really, I mean, there's African-American vernacular, but essentially you can't really, or race is not a language. But, so she gave me this fake Valley girl, because I've known her for years. I know how she talks. And she was like, well, you know.
No, I don't say it in a bad way. Like, you know I don't have any disrespect towards you, and I love you. Like, Cameron, like, I don't hang out with white people. You know I don't hang with white people. All the people I hang out with are black, and you're the only black friend I have that has a problem with it. And I said,
that's very troubling for me. I was like, your black friends are coons, and they're setting you up. Because let somebody run up on you for saying nigga and beat your ass, and they're not going to do anything. They're going to pull out their phones and record you, and you're going to be on World Star, on Twitter, trending, getting your ass beat. And I was like, those are coons. And I said, and what I hate when people use this excuse, because no one black person speaks for the entire race. There are some black people who are cool being called nigga, and there are some black people who are not cool being called nigga. As black people, we do not all agree on the same issues and the same topics. We don't have the same opinion. So one black person cannot speak for me. So just because your black friend says that you can say the N-word does not mean I'm going to be cool with you saying the N-word. So don't say it in my presence. That's just what it is. So, and I was like, I get that, but no, like, I'm not comfortable. And I said, I'm going to be real with you. The reason why I haven't spoken to you, the reason why I've been ignoring you, ignoring your calls, when I come to town, I lie and say I'm not there so I don't have to see you, or make it an excuse why I can't see you, is because you said the N-word. And last time we had the conversation, you were not receptive or respectful of my wishes. So I did not want to see you. I didn't want to hang out with you. I did not want to be friends with you any longer. And she's like, okay, well, you know I don't say it in a bad way. And she's like, I was like, yeah, I don't care. So then she was like, okay, Cameron, like, I was doing too much and getting on her fucking nerves. So, so I paid the comment, and we kept having a conversation. We were talking, and Chuck Norris was telling me about all the issues, and she started telling me about her roommate, because, little backstory on Chuck Norris, when she was younger, she got into a car accident, which claimed the life of her baby sister, unfortunately, and she got paid from a settlement from that last year. So she got $90,000 in reparations, or emotional damage. So she got $90,000, and Chuck Norris currently has $4,000 of the $90,000. So she
blew through $84,000 in less than a year.
So I'm like, girl, what are you doing? If someone gave me $90,000, it'd be saved. All right, I'd never have a struggle in the world. But you know, well, life's unexpected, but still. Most of the reason why the money is gone is based on her bad decisions, and I would never spend that much money on bad decisions. I would make good decisions, because when you know what it is to be without, you know, you don't want to go back. So we're talking, and we're talking, and we're talking, and we're talking, and she drops the N-word again, and I just lose it. I was like, come on. And she's like, no, Cameron, like, I'm trying really hard not to say the word. You know that I talk like this all the time. My family talks like this. My black friends don't have a problem with it. It's only you. It's only you. Like, I'm the problem. Like, it's my fault that I'm triggered by you using a racial slur. That it's my fault that I'm not being a coon and allowing you to be disrespectful towards the African-American community by using that word. Boom. So I just went off on her. I was like, I don't care. I don't believe that BS, because you mean to tell me you can't exclude one word out of your vocabulary? Like, you have to say it. It's just something that you just can't help. You can't get over. You can't stop it. I don't believe that, because when you go to work, you don't curse. When you go to work, you talk a certain way. When you're around your family, you talk a certain way. I don't curse around my mom because I have respect. I don't curse around work because I have respect. respect. I don't say the N-word at work because I have respect. And I know if I say that word, that's unprofessional and I can lose my job. And for all the white people who are like, I can say it, like you guys can say it so we can say it, it's freedom of speech. It is freedom of speech. It is freedom of speech. You have the freedom to say that word, but you also have the freedom to get smacked.
To get popped.
Have that problem. If you're gonna say a racial slur, whether it be one against Muslims, Mexicans, blacks, whatever, you have to deal with the consequences. It is hate speech and it's not protected underneath the freedom of speech. Like, you can't say fire in a movie theater and say that it's freedom of speech. You're gonna get arrested. If you're a white person and you go to your job and you say the N-word, you're gonna get fired. If you're a white person and you say it at a college campus or a high school campus, you're gonna get expelled. So why say it? And especially when we live in a social media era where white people are being recorded doing racist acts, weaponizing the police against black people, and are losing their jobs, having reputations ruined, losing businesses, their livelihood in danger. So why? Why would you risk losing your job? Why would you risk not being able to feed your family, feed yourself? Why would you risk your reputation? Because that sticks with you. Like, the internet is forever. And any employer can look up a video on YouTube of you saying the N-word and you're out of a job. So I would just say don't risk it. So I went off on her. Cursed her out. I was like, you're broke. You ran through $9,000. You need to get your life together. Also, she has no plans. Like, literally, she told me, you know, I need to get out of Virginia. And I was like, yeah, cool. Where are you going to go? I don't know yet. You don't know yet. So you have $4,000 of your money left. You've ran through $84,000. You don't know what you're going to do. All you know is you need to get out of Virginia as soon as possible. And you have no idea where you're going to go. Let that sink in. So I just went off on her and I left, and I didn't care. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, the bitch deserved it. Also, she was also saying some really transphobic stuff because she had a roommate that she was living with, and her roommate, I guess, was also a drug dealer and was also bringing in random guys and was a trans woman. And she was just the way she was talking about this person was so disrespectful, and it was just,
Oh yeah, she's lucky that I called her by what she wants to be called by. Like, she's lucky I had enough respect to call her by her preferred pronouns. Like, she looks like a man. Like, if I showed you photos, you could tell she's a fucking man.
I'm just like, that's really transphobic. And then her brother was on the side and chimed in talking about it's a it. No. Mind you, Chuck Norris is a lesbian. She is a white, racist, transphobic lesbian. That's a combination I never expected. And as somebody who like wants to make art for people who are oppressed and people who don't have a voice, for me to befriend someone like that is very hypocritical and counterproductive to my movement and my plans in life. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna coon. I'm not gonna sacrifice my character to allow somebody to be hateful around me. I'm not gonna do that. So I cursed her out, and that was that. And I went home and I told my family. And surprisingly, that sparked up an argument in my household because they were arguing about who could say the N-word. And one side was like, you know, nobody should be saying it. And the other side said that white people can't say it and only black people can say it. So it's a debate. It is a debate. And some people are better left out of your life. Toxic people are everywhere in your life. And some people are there temporarily, you know, realizing that some things are just not meant to be. And, you know, I called my friends and I was telling them how angry I was about this situation because I've been really trying to be peaceful and not confrontational and not fight and not argue and not get into a lot of mess. But she just took me there, and I just hate the fact that she took me there. And it just blew my whole life. And, you know, part of me wanted to go down there and punch her. Part of me wanted to fight her. I don't fight the handicap, so I didn't do that. But I wanted to go and I wanted to pop her in the mouth. I wanted to drag the bitch. And I didn't do that because, you know, as people of color, sometimes our first instinct is to react in anger when we are disrespected, which is very valid. If someone disrespects you, you should react in anger. But when we retaliate in anger and violent ways, we are seen as hostile threats that must be neutralized and killed and shot at, and I rather not have that. So I just, you know, I'd rather not have